Hey guys, meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this On the Snow Before You Go forecast. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you get notified when my latest forecasts come out. Let me show you my bullet points here, really a storm timeline, if you will. And so we've got a storm system continuing through 3-6 into 3-7. That's storm 1. Number 2, 3-10, 11, and 12. And then another storm behind that for the west, 3-12, 13, and 14. So we've got a number of storm systems lined up across the west. Let me give you the lay of the land here. So this is water vapor satellite imagery. Oranges and reds are going to be your drier air at low levels. Your moisture is going to be in your whites and your blues. So we've got a storm system right here moving onshore. That's the first storm of the bunch, and that is going to move directly through the Intermountain West. There's a little storm kind of behind it. You can almost see a little area of rotation right here. That's going to kind of trail this area of low pressure and go down to the southern tier 4 corners immediately behind it. Then you've got a big storm out here, and that will also be part of the flow. And then, of course, there's another storm behind that one. Here's my snow timeline, best dates and odds of snow. If you said, well, when are the powder days going to be? I think it's going to be these days. So for the Wasatch, heavy accumulations, major storm. They're 3-6 into early 3-7. So powder day on 3-6, powder day on 3-7. And then another storm with moderate accumulations on 3-11. In the Tetons, heavy snow on 3-6, powder day. Another heavy snowfall accumulation coming in 3-11, 12, 13. In Colorado, heavy snow accumulation 3-6 into early 3-7. And then moderate on 3-11. You can see the other dates here. So for the Northeast, we're going to go from a mix 3-5 into early 3-6 into some light snow accumulation 3-6, 3-7. Your better shot of snow is probably on 3-10. Another way of looking at all of this is the spider chart that I make. Odds of best snow for the next 7, 8, 9 days. More purple, higher on the web, better odds of new snow. So that's Colorado. That's Wyoming. That's Utah. And to some degree, that's going to be parts of the interior BC area. You can see them, there's just more purple and higher on the web. Those are the areas you want to focus on if you're looking for new snow. Let me just talk a bit about the jet stream forecast. So I'm looking, these are jet stream winds that are up at about 30,000 feet in the atmosphere. This is what's steering storm systems around the globe, around the country. I'm looking for the brighter colors, the oranges, the reds, and even the tans. So we'll start this at about 5 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, March 6th. You can see the big dip in the jet. We call that a trough of low pressure moving in through California, Nevada, Idaho, and eventually, and there's a storm over on the East Coast as well. That's the one that had the rain-snow mix for the Northeast. Here comes the area of low pressure into Utah, Wyoming. This is late on Thursday, March 6th into Colorado. And you can see there's a little area of low pressure kind of on the tail end. See it digging down into Southern California. That's the one that's going to go down towards the Four Corners. Here we are late on Friday the 7th. The whole thing still moving through the Four Corners, and then it's out of there by Saturday. And then a couple of days of high-pressure ridging, the arcing of the jet to the north, so it'll be calm and quiet there for a couple of days. That's Sunday, March 9th. Here's Monday, here's late on Monday, March 10th. Next storm system moving into California. You can see the dip. Here it comes. There's lunchtime. There's dinner time on Tuesday, March 11th, moving through the Intermountain West and then out into the plains, followed by another storm system. This is early on Thursday, March 13th, the next storm system moving into California, and then that hits the Intermountain West. That's late right there on Friday, March 14th. There's early. Let's go back one. So that's late on Friday, March the 15th, and that's the third storm system right there. Looking at snowfall accumulation over time, start this on Thursday, early in the morning, March 6th. So on this, your light blues are going to be your lightest accumulations of 3 inches or less. Your greens are 3 to 6, yellow 6 plus, red is 10 plus. Couple of things going on. Big storm over the west. Storm system rolling up through the northeast with that rain-snow mix at the ski areas. All right, here we are late Thursday, March 6th. Snow through Wyoming, Utah, parts of Idaho, Colorado. and then that storm moves out into the plains. This is late on Friday, March 7th. There's that trailing area of low pressure across the Four Corners, snow for Arizona and New Mexico, and then that moves away. There's late on Saturday, March 8th. And then a couple of days of high pressure ridging. Here comes our next storm system. So this is roughly morning to lunch on Tuesday, March 11th. That moves from California into Utah, Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado. Here's early on Wednesday, March the 12th. Another storm system right here rolling into California. This is late on Wednesday. There's early on Thursday, March 13th. So that storm then moves into the interior. So a total of 3 storm systems. Here's my forecast. So all of 3.6 through 3.10. Roughly a grand total in the Wasatch of 1 to 3 feet of accumulation. 20 to 30 from Park City up to Little and Big Cottonwood Canyons. Somewhere in that range. It's going to be heavy though. 10 to 12 up there through parts of Grand Targhee and Jackson Hole over to Hagaden. Southern Utah could pick up a foot. 6 down at Arizona's Snowball. In Colorado, the biggest numbers are across the western slope of the state, where we could see 8 to 16 inches of accumulation. From Steamboat to Aspen, Snowmass, to Powderhorn, down towards the San Juans, where the numbers could be big, a foot or more down there. A little bit less, 6 to 8 through Summit County, Continental Divide, Loveland, Breck, Copper, a Basin, Keystone, up towards Eldora and Cameron Pass. 2 to 4 down there over New Mexico. Up into parts of Montana, 3 to 6. Red Lodge gets a little bit more. And there are your numbers through interior BC, 6 to 8 inches, but potentially a much richer flow down in the Marmot Basin with potentially 15 to 20 inches. And then a pretty sharp cutoff in the Pacific Northwest. If you're south of Baker, the numbers are pretty small. And a little bit left over for California in the Sierra. All right, so up in the Northeast, it's tricky because initially we've got rain or rain snow. You're really going to have to wait until the end of the period. I think 310 is your next best shot of snow, and I'm thinking probably 2 to 8 inches of accumulation from upstate New York to Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Otherwise, nothing for Massachusetts. All right, guys, we're going to end on the big western map here, and we've got some powder days ahead. The parts of Utah, Colorado, parts of Wyoming, and interior BC looking pretty decent through 310. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in here. Always appreciate it. Take care. And again, this is the On the Snow Before You Go forecast.